should
course.
probably do that. Yeah.
Okay, so you have a choice between a kind of one of those building sims where you make things. Not this, I don't know. Where let's read what it says. It says simulation strategy. Okay,
Mhm.
or indie RPG.
Indie RPG.
Indie RPG it is. Send me a private message in chat with your, oh, you already did. Copy. Now, I just want to point out to everyone that when you get in this email, it will not be from me. It will not be from Steam. It will be from Humble Bundle. So please look in your email for something from Humble Bundle. That's where your free game is. Julia gets Battle Chasers Night War, which, according to the description, is an RPG inspired by the classic console greats, featuring deep dungeon diving, turn-based combat presented in a classic JRPG format, and a rich story driven by exploration of the world. So there you go. Battle Chasers Night War. Also, I want to point out to everyone, I can see if you've claimed your games or not. So if you actually redeem the code, it says claimed. If you haven't, it says gifted. So all of you who hate the games I'm giving you, I'm sorry, but take it anyway so that I don't give it to somebody else. Because let's just say, here, I'm going to share this with you because I know it's very interesting. Share screen, Steam, share. This game, Bad Hotel, I have been trying to give this away since like 2015. And I give it to someone and then they don't claim it. And it's still in my thing. I'm pretty sure I've given Portal away before. Chat. Gabe will take it. I've actually already said I'd give it to somebody in the 3 o'clock class, but I will give you Portal. Have you ever played Portal? Manage gift. See, I sent this to canyonman133@gmail.com. Bad Hotel, I have sent this to baldeagle18@gmail.com. I should email them. I don't know who they are anymore. Okay. Manage gift. Let's see. Email my gift. Okay, I can do this. I will send you Portal, Gabe. What's it about? It's about portals. Bad Hotel is about a bad hotel. It's about 2 hours. Oh, I got a million of them. Gabe, send me an email address. Okay, Gabe, you must play Portal. You should all play Portal. Do I have to? No. Next. Recipient. Gabe. Claim this or lose my total respect. And then you get okay. This should be, once your friend has redeemed their gift, your gift status will change from sent to redeemed. So what is my gift inventory? Yeah. Okay. I can't tell you how many times I've gotten copies of Portal for free through Steam. They just give it away occasionally. Because I don't know. Go play. And yes, the cake is a lie was like a meme forever. Now you guys make me feel old because you don't know what Portal was. It's like 14 years old. Oh man. Also, to give you all hope, Portal was so a group of students at DigiPen, they're college students, much like you. They their final project, which they worked on in their final year of college, was a game called Narbacular Drop, which they made, and they had a thing at the end of the year, where they showed off all the games that the students had made that year, much like we have a thing called Showfest, where we show off all the MQPs of all the IMGD students, and people come and play them, and we invite industry people to come and see your games. And people from Valve, because DigiPen is in Seattle, people from Valve went to the final thing, and they saw Narbacular Drop, and they kind of liked it. And the team, they got their, I don't know, somehow, basically they got a call from Valve the next week, and they said, hey, you guys are all graduating. Why don't you all come work for us? And take that Narbacular Drop game that you made and remake it in our engine, the Hammer editor. And we'll give you Eric Wolpaw, who was one of the writers on Half-Life 2. Well, Eric will help out because he liked your game too. And you know, make our game. And if you have any questions about how to use, they used to, Anthony, they used to make games.
I am well aware of this. It's out of sadness I say that.
Actually, they just made Half-Life Alyx.
They made like Alyx, yeah, but they also haven't made an actual continuation of it because that ended with the same freaking thing as 2, and I'm so annoyed by. I'm sorry.
Yeah, so that was the dream, is that basically you're a college person and it's coming the end of your senior year and you don't know what you're going to do with your life. Oh my God, do I have a job? Do I don't have a job? And Valve just says, hey, come make games for us. Right. And they made, and Narbacular Drop became Portal. And it became, actually, it became probably the best thing in the orange box, which was a thing. You guys don't remember the orange box. Anyway, so it was Half-Life 2 episode 1, 2, I don't know, Half-Life 2 episodes, and then Team Fortress 2 and Portal, all in one box that you could buy for $50 or whatever it was. Okay, so anything else? Go play Portal. All of you should play Portal. The other cool thing about Portal is that once you played it, you can play like the designer's commentary version, where you can play the game again, and there are little like floating icons, and if you walk up and click on them, the designers will talk to you about what they were thinking and why they did things around here. Also, it occurs to me that Valve does not make games. Valve bought the Firewatch people. Who made Firewatch? Campo Santo. They bought Campo Santo, which are the Idle Thumbs people. And the Campo Santo people said, you guys don't make Half-Life anymore, and we love you for making Half-Life. Could we make Half-Life? And they're like, oh yeah, go ahead. Because that's how Valve works. So that's how you got Half-Life Alyx, is because Jake Rodkin and Sean Vanneman wanted to make Half-Life. Anyway, okay. Tonight, Right Club is due, midnight. Tomorrow, quiz is due. I got my second vaccination yesterday. Yay, me. So yeah, Campo Santo, that game, it's like in the Valley of the Gods. Campo Santo is probably never going to make that, because they have been absorbed into the Valve amoeba. I am okay. I am exhausted, but I am pushing through for you. This is pushing through. Last night, well, I got the shot at like 11, and like 5, 6, I was falling asleep. And I spent all last night. We put on a Studio Ghibli movie, and I just slept through the whole thing. I have no idea. It was amazingly, a little girl goes to the country. That narrows it down.
So not Porco Rosso. It's about all I've got.
And meets ghosts, or meets a ghost. It's called something Marnie. I got Pfizer. Yeah, Marnie. And here's the thing. We're watching this, and she keeps doing this whole like they're becoming best, like the girl who went to the country is all like depressed, and that's kind of why they sent her to the country, because she has trouble in school, and she's like mean to the other girls and everything. And there's really no explanation for why and granted, I was dozing in and out, so this is what I got. Then she meets this girl who's like mysteriously in this old abandoned house, but sometimes it's a beautiful, gorgeous mansion, and sometimes it's a dilapidated old house. And they become friends, and they go on adventures together. And I'm like, this is about baby gays. This is about awakenings, right? My wife is the same way, and I'm like, and she's like, this is a queer coming out story. And I'm like, they do that at Studio Ghibli? Okay, cool. 2015, man. Rock and roll. There are twists. I'm just going to say that there are twists, but afterwards, we're like Googling like this is really a baby gay story, and there are 85 articles about how this is a baby gay story, and we weren't crazy. So Gably, yes. So okay. But yeah, it's on HBO Max. Go ahead. And I fell asleep in the middle, and I woke up and things were different. And yeah, so I couldn't wake up this morning. I would like to be asleep right now. Ocean Waves. I'm not familiar with Ocean Waves. So my wife loves all the Spirited Away is about human trafficking, right? It's about sex slavery. Think about it. Oh, okay. That's probably
I'd
why.
rather not
Okay.
think about it. He's trying to have a fun movie.
Okay. So we did business. It's already 20 after. What the hell? I'm just like flailing. So I asked y'all to read the adventure and think about it in terms of two questions. The first question, was there something in the adventure that you had no idea was in there? Was there something you played it, right? Y'all played it. You went on the adventure. Was there something there that you read it and you're like, really? That it was that? What was that? Tell me, is there anything in there that you had no idea when you were playing? Nobody has an answer. Nobody read the darn thing. Uh-oh, bad. Shame. Okay. Nobody. What about Lucio? Hey, I remembered her name. Say my name.
I was gonna say, can the game masters talk here? Or-
Yeah.
Sure.
I was like,
well, you played before you were a
Yeah.
game master.
Yeah.
Okay. I was just.
I was surprised by how sociopathic Lusho was.
I was more so surprised by the fact that the wolves that were scared off by a dragon were straight up teleporting wolves.
Yeah, I thought they were
That
just
too.
normal wolves, and then
Yeah,
it's
we
like,
just
oh
kinda
yeah,
scared 'em
they're
off.
rift wolves.
And I'm like, oh, okay.
That was a
They're
fun
blink
instinct.
dogs, right?
That
Yeah,
was one
blink
detail we
wolves,
didn't
yeah.
really get to see.
Jack just shouted real loud and they ran off.
Yeah,
Huh.
bold strategy.
Very.
My
I rolled a
team,
nat 20. I had to.
Jack?
my team actually ran away from the wolves and didn't try to fight them until one pursued them into the hideout. So that was a fun experience. And then they learned that combat is fun.
Aha.
Yeah.
Or maybe it isn't. Or maybe,
Maybe it isn't. It is when you do a lot of damage.
Okay.
I
So
think that
I have another kind of overarching question. Was this adventure too easy?
Yes.
I don't know.
It had ways of being hard. I think 4 may be a little much. If there was like 3, maybe it would have been a little harder. But yeah, I don't know. It did seem a little easy, but also getting people into it, you don't want to murder everyone. So I understand why it's easy, like that type of thing. Because this is supposed to be introductory. You're not supposed to be like, yes, if you don't know exactly what each of these can do,
Right.
go and play another one. Like,
right. Okay. So
I think it's fine as is for
like Pathfinder as a game is often criticized that unless you have like the exact right thing, you are going to get murdered. And so it's up to you to like munchkin your party up the wazoo, so that somebody is a super thief and somebody is a super cleric and somebody is a super fighter, and that you have the possibilities covered. But if people who've never played before just come in and wreck everything, is that, well, I don't know. Everybody was excited on Monday that like seemed to have fun. McKenna was the only one brave enough to say, I don't like combat. I don't like
Yeah, I
D&D.
Oh, I like D&D. I just combat takes
have
flipping
Caught in
forever.
4K.
Anthony is used to combat because Anthony has been in not one but two separate D&D things with about six players.
Yeah.
So I'm just kind of used to it at this point, but
I'm also only used to being in combat. I mostly play clerics.
oh,
So I don't have any extra attacks. I don't have any extra fun things. It's
maybe-
just one action,
It's-
maybe a
it's-
bonus action, and
Okay.
movement. And that's it. When I was playing a monk, combat was fun.
yes.
When I was playing a sorcerer, combat was fun because I
Grabbing
could do
arrows out of the air.
everything.
Clerics
But a
can have
cleric, it's
fun.
just like,
waiting for your team to have
So
damage.
so I'm looking at Sean. It's more fun to talk to other people and to problem solve your way out of things rather than go on a murder spree. So at my last campaign that a friend of mine DM'd, at the start of the campaign, while we were like making characters and stuff, he was like, so are you guys like, would you rather be like talky and story based and role playing based, or do you just want to fight? And we were all like, no, we want to talk and like do the story and everything. And then we started playing, and because of the characters we rolled, we were terrible at talking to anyone, and we were awesome at fighting. And like, I made a paladin. I wanted to smite everything. Damn it. And so he's like, you guys lied to me. You don't want the story. You just want to smack things. And honestly, it doesn't have to be one or the other. It can be both. Sometimes I want to talk and sometimes I want to smack things. Honestly, talking depends on how the conversation's going, right? If I feel like I'm spinning my wheels talking to this person because I either can't roll a good persuasion or diplomacy or what have you, because my character isn't built that way, then there's no point, right? David, talk to me.
Yeah, I agree. Sometimes combat's fun, sometimes just talking's fun. And not everyone plays D&D for explicitly one or the other. Usually when I build like an encounter or something, if I'm planning for a session, I'll do, okay, we'll have this chunk be like investigating an abandoned house or something, like sort of rooting something out, finding clues. Then like trying to talk to people, trying to get stuff from them, and then I'll have a combat-based encounter somewhere in the middle. So that way I can sort of touch on the like, okay, so you feel like you're actually being proactive without of combat. You're actually feeling like, oh, okay, solving a puzzle or finding clues, talking to people. And then also for the combat, you feel like you're actually coming up against something and there's something to benchmark the session in your mind.
So I like, there's the game and then there's the meta game, right? There's the I'm looking at the numbers on my character sheet go up, and I like that. There's the let's go shopping, right?
Yeah.
Diablo is a shopping simulator
Diablo.
with some clicking to allow you to get enough money to go shopping again. Yeah, I agree with you entirely, David. You can do both. And in fact, the game I'm playing now actually has what they call social encounters versus combat encounters. Who started a cult?
My group or my personal group, we got to this like drow city,
Oh, okay.
and like we needed to get to the king, and there was a disease around that we had encountered before, so they were already worshiping like the son of Lolth.
Mhm.
And they were doing like this whole cultish ritual, and so my character, who was at that point disguised as a drow, I like communicated with my other teammates, and I just basically walked up there using thaumaturgy, making whispers sound around me. The bard who cast seeming to make me look like a drow made it look like smoke was billowing off of me, and then I like greater restored the person, and they were all like, it's like the prophet of the god. It was great. It was wonderful.
So so one of the things that did you all uncover Lucia's background? Like what her motivations were?
We did.
You did. Okay. So at least one group did. Did it every other group?
The
Anthony
DMs did, and I know my group did. Yes.
Okay.
My group kind of did, but also not really. We were pressed for time a little bit at the end, so I kind of had to rush the ending. But they didn't get everything. And like also, for example, they just sort of left Omni unconscious in the forest, which I thought was hilarious in retrospect. Because poor Omni.
You'll be fine. It'll be fine.
Yeah,
just walk
just
it
unconscious, sitting there. Literally, they like took Omni's items and they're like, "All right, let's go." I'm like,
Yeah.
Okay.
we're leaving you naked and alone in a giant wasp nest. You'll be fine. It'll go home. Okay. I mean, I often read these adventures where the complicated backstory of bad guys is all spelled out, and then the players blunder in, kill him in 2 rounds, and move on. Right? And wait, she had a story. She was willing to tell you this. Oh, she's dead. Okay. I guess that yeah, murder hobos. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, sorry. I changed the way she went about trying to convince the players slightly differently, where like she told sort of the truth, but there were some lies to it, because it fit better with how the players introduced themselves to her. And they caught on to the lie and saw through it. So they got like half of the true motivations of her and like half of the true story. But after like they figured it out, they just beat up her and the commoners and teleported out. That was the end of the story. So
Yeah,
Uh,
mine just kind of
yeah.
bum rushed the door. And so according to the thing, she started getting hostile and drew her dagger. Then the two humans rushed out.
Yeah. So, okay.
Yeah.
So, David with his 10-page journal, so that they could get, lore, and then they just left because why bother?
Absolute pain.
Say
One
what?
important thing. Oh yeah, absolute pain.
Pain.
Yeah.
One important thing to note is what happened in my group that wasn't supposed to happen by being written on the page. Both of my groups did something that like I did not plan for whatsoever and had to improv the entire
Oh,
time.
okay. So this is the next thing. So tell me about things that are not on the page that happened in your session. That's the flip side. Tell me, McKenna, what did they do?
Scaring away wolves by pretending to be a dragon.
Okay.
Getting Lusho drunk and convincing her that she wasn't being that she hadn't just been hit in the head with a mace. And like what else? Yeah, I think that covers it pretty much.
Well, we tried to sneak away into the room with the crystals because we saw because there were two rooms, and then she kept looking at the room with the crystals as we were talking to her, like kind of nervously. So one of us tried to sneak away to go into the room, but they tripped over their chair because they rolled like a natural one. Yeah, that was
happened too. They also snuck in, shot one of the guys, and then kicked the table into the other guy and killed him. And then just like
death by table.
And then yeah. And then they convinced Lusho that they weren't hostile somehow. And to be honest, I will say natural 20 in anything but a combat setting doesn't have to be an automatic success.
Mm-hmm.
I just think if you roll a natural 20, you deserve to have something good happen to you, unless you just like physically cannot complete that task.
Yeah, okay. But even so, I always, if they physically can't do it, yeah, there's no way you're gonna jump 20 feet up to the ledge. So you hit the wall and you fall at the base of the wall. But at the bottom of the wall, there's like a little hole, and there's 10 gold pieces in there because you rolled a 20, right?
Yeah, exactly.
I know my group they tripped the alarm because they didn't think of looking for it, and they all avoided damage from it, but when they went down, they tried going to the southern door, and the thing literally says it will not budge no matter what. I tried like 4 times, and I was like, I literally just copied and pasted that and sent it to them in Discord. It was like, guys, please.
Yeah.
Like, you can keep going, but just
No,
I don't want to spend half an hour on this.
Hit it with the sledgehammer.
They tried that. I said it still wouldn't budge.
On the flip side, I actually messed up because my players tripped the alarm. And then when they went around, I've forgotten to move both of the humans into the storeroom.
Mm-hmm.
So when they came in, they were still sitting at the table. I'm like, oh, and I like started describing them. I'm like, oh wait, no, they're not here. They go in here. You didn't see anything. So that was on the sheet that I missed.
Yeah, well,
no attention to the man behind the curtain.
I can't tell you how many times as a DM I've screwed up and then been like, well, okay, that happens. Or after a session, I'm like, he was invisible. Shoot, I didn't see that. Oh, geez, that would have changed everything. Huh. Go figure. So, uh, uh, yeah, it sounds like Carrie and Nick have, what's the owl thing going on?
I can explain it out loud.
Okay.
So throughout the game, Jaden was trying to get various animals to sit on his shoulder because he was playing, I forget which character, but the super Raj. Starting with a squirrel and then like forest rabbits. And in the final confrontation, someone throws the fur ball out of the bag of tricks, I think.
Yeah.
And it turns into an owl. And after the confrontation, Jaden goes up and has the owl land on his shoulder. And we go into the storeroom. And lo and behold, as written on the page, is a statue of a gnome with an owl on its shoulder. And like, it was the most miraculous thing that I had ever seen in a D&D game.
That's cool. That's awesome.
It is incredible. Earlier, another thing that was sort of off script but was very fitting was Carrie was playing Jemmy, the toy maker, and she had the idea of making toys for the kids for some of the gold. Mm-hmm. And I was actually pretty surprised when I read through that, like, it was very hard set that there were 4 tasks to get gold through. So I was like, I'll shift the gold around. You can have 5 gold for making toys, which I felt was a pretty good improvement to that.
Yeah, that's what DMs are for, right? That's why we have a human being instead of just a text to speech generator, right? So that's great. So I find that the most memorable stuff from my various D&D exploits are the things that aren't scripted but come out. The other class so I love the things like the bag of tricks, right? Because you never know what's going to happen. The rod of wonder, right? Where you roll and it could be one spell, it could be another spell, it could affect the bad guys, it could affect you. Did you take damage? You took damage from being beaten at a rap battle? How do you do that? How does that happen?
You take 1d4 minus 1 psychic damage if you completely lose at all of them. That was one thing I was look, all I'm saying, when I was doing the rap battle, I was tempted to use vicious mockery on the kid. But I'm just saying the reverse would have happened if I lost. So it was justified, is what I'm saying here.
Okay. I think so one of the ways to think about writing a D&D adventure is you want to provide a scaffolding that allows those emergent things to happen, right? Anthony kills a child. Don't kill children. There's a bag of beans in the DMG.
I refuse to believe a child that has only has a D4 and no constitution.
The allowing emergent stuff, putting in, so the bag of beans for McKenna wants to play with, the rod of wonder we used to play with. Geez, I can't tell you how I took more damage from that rod of wonder than I did from many of a combat. But at the same time, it turned me purple once. How awesome is that? I am now purple. The bag of tricks rust. In the other class, they pulled out a bear. And then, well, the bear is in the room and can't get out. So that's where the bear lives now. Bear lives in the room, can't get out of the
Many
room.
things.
I think they put it back in the bag. I don't know. They said there were problems with getting the bear out of the room. Also, I think weren't you just supposed to die if you took more than one day?
If you stay topside too long and don't go into the, I think you just have to get to the basement before night falls, and then because then after that Lusho gets away with the crystals and you go back empty-handed or just die to the natural creatures.
Yeah. Okay. So when you're writing your D&D adventure, look for things that afford play, right? Because sure, the epic, the great hero NPC who gets stabbed in the heart in a scripted thing and then hands you the message that must be taken to the king and says, take this to the king. That's all very dramatic. But everybody knows it's scripted. Everybody knows the DM is reading the little text box in the adventure. And sure, we need that. I'm not tearing it down, but that's kind of the foundation that then the players will build off of, right? Okay, the bag of beans and the deck of many the deck of many things will kill you dead. Okay, so I want to move on because I have 3 whole minutes. The Stanley Parable. How is the Stanley Parable like Dungeons and Dragons?
You can choose to go with the narrator, aka the DM, or you can go and do whatever you want.
Well, you can't do whatever you want.
Well, you can do whatever you want in the confines of what is options are given to you.
Yes. Okay. So, one of the so as Stanley, what can you do? You like just mechanically control wise in the game.
You can move.
You can move. You can click on things too, can't you?
Yeah, you can.
You've got to use, right? I had it in my head that you could jump, but you can't even jump. There is no jump button. It's just because in that room over on the right where there's the platform that goes across and you jump to the other pathway down below. I think of that as, oh, I jumped. I didn't jump. I walked off a ledge. So very limited mechanically things you can do. So all choices are really movement, right? Do I go left? Do I go right? Do I go through this door? Do I go through that door? Do I push a button or not push a button?
Do I stand in a broom closet for 20 minutes straight?
Yes. Do I not play this game for 5 years? That's a choice. So
do I cheat and be put in the room of punishment?
The very easiest way to think about Stanley Parable and D&D, I'm going to get out my wonderful whiteboard, is, oh, have we seen this? It's an upside down trumbus. But it's a corridor. Do I go left? Do I go right? Right? And if at the end of each of these, there's a door. Then I have a choice. Do I take the left door? Do I take the right door? Now, if, oh, I screwed it up. If both doors lead to the same room, that's not a choice, right? That sucks. Let's undo that. But if each door leads to a room, and then that leads to a corridor, and there's a challenge, say there's combat in one room and a bunch of pillars you have to jump across a pit with in the other room, then that becomes an interesting choice. I'm still going the same place, but how I get there becomes interesting, because am I going to fight, or am I going to use skills to get there? Or say, okay. Well, say there's a third choice. My art is phenomenal. And there's a guy with a book. That's a great book, isn't it? It's kind of like an angel. It looks like an angel. There's an angel with a book. And the angel asks you trivia questions before they'll let you go to the next thing. Then you have 3 ways to get across. You have strength, dexterity, or intelligence, right? And I can choose which way I'm going to go, and that becomes a meaningful choice, right? Because I have obstacles in my way. So the interesting thing about Stanley, and I'm going to stop that, that I can do is that there are so many endings, right? How many endings did you get?
I 100% in the game before I even took this class.
Okay. How many endings are there in Stanley Parable? 19. There are 19 endings in Stanley Parable, according to Google. Which, if you think about it, 19, that's not that many, right? But there's a lot to explore.
Yeah. It's, I don't know. I mean, most games I think of with multiple endings have like maybe 4 or 5.
Yeah.
19 is 5.
Well,
that, so
I remember when Fallout 3 came out.
Yeah.
They were like, there are 2,000 possible endings. And yeah, well, I guess.
It's not a bad game, but there's like 2. There's like 2 endings.
Well, so they count out of curiosity, since the quiz is going to ask about the game, what should we expect it to ask us? I did watch some of your playthrough of it, but I'm just worried I missed one ending I should have seen. It's not going to ask you which ending. You're fine. No, you don't have to risk the 5-year achievement. If honestly, I don't remember what I asked about the Stanley Parable, but I can look it up real quick. And honestly, preview. What's the preview? Stanley Parable. Oh, if you've played 5 minutes of the Stanley Parable, you will get the quiz question. Okay. The other question I had, and I'm over time. Did you do what the narrator told the first time you went through it? Did you do what the narrator told you? Or did you fight?
Yeah. I'd seen a couple people play, so I was like, you know what? I'm just going to follow it for a bit.
Well, if you do what the narrator tells you, you win. He tells you you win. He tells you you are awesome and wonderful. And there's the sun, and you get outside, and life is great. You should feel good about yourself because you did everything right. Congratulations. And yet, okay. So, the makers of the Stanley Parable, the two main people, one went on to make the Beginner's Guide, and one went on to make Dr. Langeskov the Tiger and the Emerald and a bunch of other stuff. So tomorrow we'll talk about those, maybe a little bit more about the Stanley Parable, and hopefully I won't be as tired. So Right Club is due tonight. Quiz is due tomorrow. See you tomorrow. Bye.